We are back. Weather for Weather Geeks time. We've taken the last couple of evenings off from Weather Geeks, but we are back this evening with a Friday night video that's action-packed and full of good information for the weekend, next week, and beyond. So let's not waste any time and get right to it. In the interest of full disclosure, this was a terrible, terrible forecast I had for today. I had 70 for a high today. I busted by 11 degrees on the first day of the forecast. That does not happen often. Maybe a couple times a year at most, but it was one of those days today. The clouds didn't come in fast enough. Look how much warmer we were than Pittsburgh and Zanesville and New Philly, where the clouds thickened up quicker. The clouds waited forever, it seemed like, to come in. Made for a nice day, but a bad forecast. We hit 81 at the Youngstown Warren Airport this afternoon, so had to eat a big, big piece of humble pie today, so that was not a good forecast. It is a breezy evening. I just walked up the street a little while ago to get dinner here in downtown Youngstown, and the wind is howling in between the buildings here downtown. At the airport, 22-mile-per-hour gust during the at the top of the 7 o'clock hour. We also had a couple of light showers or sprinkles that moved through, kind of straddled the state line as it moved northward, bringing a touch of rain to Sharon and Hermitage and Hubbard and Yankee Lake, places like that. But those are pretty much pushed away, and looks like a pretty uneventful evening for us. But as we look at the zoomed-out view here of the region, a lot of moisture in the atmosphere this evening. It has been raining, it seems like, for days in the Mid-Atlantic region, including D.C. Showers and thunderstorms lining up towards Louisville and into the Cincinnati and Indianapolis areas this evening, and all of this is starting to make some northward progress. Flood watches, advisories, warnings out for a lot of the Mid-Atlantic region, and a few flood warnings back here in the lower Ohio River Valley this evening. The dew points aren't bad here locally, starting to sneak up into the upper 50s, but look at how much drier the air is to the north and how much more moisture-laden the air is to the south. Well, the higher dew point air is going to win the battle as we go into the day tomorrow, so you're going to notice the change. It's going to be a pretty muggy Saturday. All right, as far as tonight is concerned, I do think as everything starts pushing north, we're going to see some showers overnight. I can't totally rule out a clap of thunder, but most of this will just be innocuous showers as we go through the night. All right, tomorrow is a Saturday in late May, and that means that a lot of people want to get outdoors and do some stuff, whether it be graduation parties, wedding, going to Cedar Point, et cetera, et cetera. Lots of things going on outdoors. The weather all important. I think the morning can start with a shower first thing in the morning, but I suspect we're going to get into a drier period as we go towards lunchtime here, and I'll get out of the way and show you the hour-by-hour rain chances. They're down to 10% by late in the morning and early in the afternoon. I think that's the best part of the day, right around lunchtime. And then thunderstorms and rain chances will increase again as we head towards evening on Saturday, and things could get kind of bumpy around here before the day is through. This front's going to wiggle north. It's no longer really a stationary front. That's how I have it drawn on here, but it's really a warm front. It's the leading edge of that more moisture-laden air, and as we get into the unstable air tomorrow, what the radar looks like today down in Kentucky may be kind of what the radar looks like here tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. Now, a lot of this will just be garden variety spring and summertime showers and storms, but I can't rule out a couple of these getting kind of feisty late in the afternoon, early in the evening, and then we should see a decrease in activity again as we head towards late evening and into the overnight hours. The Storm Prediction Center does have the region in a low-end risk of severe weather tomorrow, meaning it's possible isolated severe storms could occur and be limited in coverage and intensity. You know, I'm not real gung-ho on this being a big severe weather day tomorrow, but I can't rule out a couple of these storms getting tall and feisty, and perhaps we see one or two isolated circumstances where we could have a damaging wind gust in any of the strongest storms. The moisture in the atmosphere will lead to some heavy rainfall rates if the storms get high enough in the sky. They'll be moving at a decent clip, I think, but pardon me, I can't rule out some localized minor flooding issues if we do get some heftier downpours. One thing I'm going to keep an eye on as we go into the day tomorrow, and again, I don't want to stress this too much because it's a low-end thing, but there is some wind shear in the lowest few thousand feet of the atmosphere tomorrow. So this is an indice on our model here that combines both the instability in the atmosphere, the ability for air to rise, with the spin or the turning, or helicity as a fancy meteorological term for it, as you go up through the atmosphere. And when you see some of the colors here, we get into the kind of these gray colors. It's low, but with a front nearby, there is some differences in the wind direction at the surface as compared to up a few thousand feet. So outside chance of a spin-up brief tornado tomorrow in far eastern Ohio and western PA. It's not 0%, but it's pretty low. It's not something I want to harp on too much, but I did want to bring it up as something that we'll keep an eye on as we go into the day tomorrow. All right, I think Sunday is going to be a pretty nice day. Some clouds, maybe even a shower to start. The day may not look very good at the start of the day, but the afternoon behind this front, we're going to get into more of a northerly flow. The dew points will come down, and we'll see some sun. I think it's going to be a very nice May evening on Sunday. Then as we go into the day on Monday, another little weak system will approach. Maybe there's a shower, small chance for thunder with this on Monday, especially as we get into the afternoon. Now, dew points, pretty variable. I think, again, tomorrow is a much more humid day, but the dew points drop on Sunday. Monday's not bad. We get a quick uptick in the dew points on Tuesday. Then the rest of next week, I'll tell you, looks gorgeous. Second half of next week, I think it's sunny to mostly sunny. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's going to turn warm. I've got 83 in the forecast for next Friday, but it will not be accompanied by super high dew points. So all in all, some very good news there. I wanted to talk briefly about the longer range. Of course, we are a little more than a week away from Memorial Day weekend next weekend, and let's talk a little bit about the temperature trends here. It's a little too early to talk about precipitation trends at this range, but I think Memorial Day weekend is likely to start warm. This is next Saturday, the 26th. Notice all the warm anomalies or difference from average across, well, a lot of the country, with the exception of the southeast. May actually be dealing with some tropical system of some kind in parts of Florida and the Gulf Coast for Memorial Day weekend. We'll talk a little bit more about that next week. But in the meantime, our weather looks to start warm for the holiday weekend. Now, we're probably going to get a front in here at some point over the holiday weekend. Sunday, perhaps into Monday, Memorial Day itself. And the models are starting to clue on to a pretty decent cool down behind that front. Now, whether that occurs on Memorial Day or maybe it waits till the day after, low confidence in that. But at some point around Memorial Day, we're probably going to see an air mass change. And we'll probably say goodbye to the 80s for at least a few days. Probably more like the 70s, perhaps even low 70s, upper 60s for highs here if the latest model ideas are correct. Again, this is Tuesday the 29th. Here's Wednesday the 30th. That's a different air mass than the pretty warm one that we're going to have during the second half of next week and the start of Memorial Day weekend. We'll talk more about Memorial Day, of course, as we go into early next week. Thanks for tuning into this Friday edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. Hope you have a great weekend. And if the weather gets a little bit bumpy tomorrow, make sure you're following meteorologist Andrew DiPaolo and meteorologist AJ Harris on Facebook and on Twitter, and I'll chime in as needed throughout the day.